Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. I've seen a lot of talk recently about when part 2 will be on global for the LR Super BUU. So I'm going to quickly throw my 2 cents into the fold, but if you have been enjoying the content, don't forget to drop a like and while you're down there as well. If you are new, consider hitting that subscribe button. All the support is very much appreciated. So of course global Dokkan right now is a bit dead, I won't lie, but that's kind of standard. That's typically what happens. The game's not falling off or anything, it's typically what happens just before anniversary. We have a bit of a slow burner, we wait, bang, anniversary hits, everything's all good in the hood again. So my theory is, and this isn't exact, it's just a slight theory, is all of the part 1 content from login bonuses to the missions to the banners, etc., everything pretty much finishes, as you can see, all on the 20th of June, which from when I'm recording this video in the bottom right corner is 8 days from now. So either on the 19th or the 20th, maybe even the 21st, is when LR Super BUU will probably drop, and part 2 will probably start either on the exact same day or the day before. But I said, as you can see, every single piece of part 1 content will end on the 20th of June. So Super BUU will either drop on the 19th, the 20th, maybe the 21st, but probably the 19th or the 20th, and then part 2 will either start literally at the same time or maybe like, you know, a day before. So if that is the case, the reveals will either be, of course, 2 days before Super BUU drops, so it'll either be on the 17th, or if it is on the actual 20th when part 1 ends, it will either be on the 19th, no, the 18th, sorry. So the Twitter reveal will probably be on the 17th or the 18th. Part 2 and LR Super BUU will probably drop either on the 19th or the 20th. But here we have LR Super BUU's details. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty good LR, but of course with it being a yellow coin banner, you definitely want to avoid it because the banner's doo-doo. It's straight up doo-doo. We've already gone through it before, but I don't need to tell you about the value of yellow coin banners. They're not good enough. Unless you're like an LR Super BUU fan or a Super BUU fan, or you're an absolute whale who's like, I'm gonna pull everything, then you definitely want to be staying away from it, especially because, and I don't think I need to remind you, we are literally not too far off the anniversary, so you want to be saving your stones. As soon as part 2 hits, you grind all the missions, all the content available, get as many stones as you possibly can, pack up and leave, and save your stones for the 8th anniversary, because it is very, very close. But in terms of what LR Super BUU does, he is a Margin BUU Saga or Heavily Events category lead, given key +4, HP attack and defense plus 150%. On 12 key, he'll raise attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn, cause colossal damage to the enemy and greatly lower defense. On 18 key, he'll raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause mega colossal damage to all enemies with a medium chance to stun the enemy. Typically, Dokkan really likes to overvalue the AoE units in the game. They definitely didn't do that this time. You know, I have seen LR Super BUU like do 20 million attack stats on an AoE, which is 20 million damage to everyone. So let's just say for an AoE unit, he is packing absolute heat. He has an entrance animation where he'll gain key +5 and attack and defense plus 120% for 4 turns upon first appearance, which is really nice considering he's an LR. You want to hit the AoE consistently, especially if you are in an event that does contain multiple enemies like ESBR, especially with that 30% chance to stun as well. But just so you can maximize as much damage as possible, having key +5 is very nice considering he's an LR. You want that consistency for the 18 key, that's of course going to help you do so. He then does get attack and defense plus 120% at the start of turn. He then gains an additional attack plus 30% when attacking if HP is 30% or higher. He then gains an additional attack plus 30% when attacking if HP is 60% or higher, which not too difficult to do on the right team. And then he also gains an additional attack and defense plus 30% when attacking if HP is 90% or higher, which altogether does kind of add up how much damage he's going to do. Not too bad defensively either, but 90% is the one you're probably more often than not going to have active, just because maintaining that much HP even with healers, relatively difficult to have consistently. He'll then have a 70% chance to guard all attacks, which even though it's not guaranteed, still very nice. He'll then guard activate against all attacks if there is a Margin BUU Saga or Fuse Fighters category enemy. So that's why he has the 70% chance, which, as I said, while this one specifically is not guaranteed, still 70% is a lot better than nothing. And then of course 30 or 50%. And then they'll have guaranteed guard if there's a Majin Buu Saga or Fuse Fighters category enemy. Now, of course, very specific, hence why he kind of has an either-or condition. I mean, typically when it comes to difficult content in the game, Cell Max event obviously doesn't fall under that. Red Zone, no Red Zone boss from Broly, Cooler Core, to Red Zone Cell Max to Omega Shenron fall under those category conditions. You're probably only going to get that active when you're doing ESBR, and again, on a specific ESBR stage when you're facing those enemies, which, by the way, because of how good his AoE is, especially with a 30% chance to stun, he's going to be insane there. He's already good in difficult content as it is. Because of his AoE and how much damage you can do on it, he'll be insane in ESBR. So unfortunately, right now in the game, until we get any new difficult content where it really matters, his guaranteed guard, you probably won't be triggering all that much, but still having a 70% chance to guard is still pretty decent. He'll then perform an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack during the turn when guard is activated, so if you do trigger his guard, guaranteed or not, he will have a 50% chance of launching an additional super, which, regardless if you're in ESBR or not, hitting 118 key for how much damage you can do, getting 30% attack and defense raise, and then hitting another super attack where you get the second 30% attack and defense raise, very nice indeed, especially with the amount of combined damage he can do. Not only that as well, he'll temporarily gain an additional attack plus 100% for this character the next attack after receiving an attack. So this is what I mean, this guy can do a lot of damage. He'll then also gain an additional key plus 1 up to 7 and defense plus 20% for each attack received up to 140%. Now, of course, the kind of ideal way to use him would be facing a Majin Buu Saga or a Fuse Fighter category enemy. He has guaranteed guard. You put him in slot 1. He gets hit, because obviously he's in slot 1. You can get hit before he actually supers. You get the attack plus 100%. You can build this up a hell of a lot quicker. You get all of that, combine it together. As I said, LR Super Buu is doing a ton of damage. And not to mention as well that extra key plus 7 again for an LR can help you consistently launch the 18 key, especially for the first 4 turns when combined with the key plus 5 from his entrance animation. Of course, you can take the chance to do this with a 70% chance to guard, but of course if he doesn't decide to guard, when it does come to harder content like Red Zone, he can be taking a little bit of damage. So as of right now, slot 2 is the best part for him, but of course if you can get that guaranteed guard active, or you just generally take the risk, having all this combined with all the rest of the stuff he's getting, yeah, this is what I mean by he's packing heat. He also has an active skill, the Revenge Death Bomber, which is he is able to use this once 5 or more turns have elapsed, which isn't too bad. And if HP is 60% or below, it's alright. It's alright. They're not bad active skill conditions. And then once you trigger his active skill, he'll massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage, and recover 40% HP and disable the enemy's actions once within a turn. So while the active skill conditions aren't the best, as I said, they're not bad, but not the best, it kind of almost pays off considering how much damage you're going to be doing, the HP recovery, and disabling the enemy's action once within the turn as well. His link set is also Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Margin, Infinite Regeneration, Fear and Faith, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Of course, doesn't have big bad bosses, and his categories are Margin Buu Saga, Heavenly Events, Transformation Boost, Artificial Lifeforms, Margin Power, Power Absorption, Sworn Enemies, Global Chaos, and Explosion of Anger. Of course, these two are different on global translations because this is the JP side of Dokkan info. So that's Worldwide Chaos, and this is I can't remember the name. It's on the tip of the tongue, but I can't remember the English translation. But still, that one's not the best category anyway, or not too good of a category. The only downside to this LR Super Buu, apart from of course being on a yellow coin banner, being just before the 8th anniversary, so you're not really going to be summoning for him unless again you really like Super Buu or you're a whale, is the fact he doesn't currently have a 200% lead. So while 200% leads aren't the be-all and end-all, and you can still perform really well without one, doesn't currently have one, which I know that affects him a little bit, and how good he can actually be, you know, we're still yet to find out until he does get one. He currently doesn't have the best linking partner. Like, don't get me wrong, you have the Fizz Buu tanks, the LR Fizz Buu tanks, who's a very good unit. There's a few other Buu type units that are pretty good, but they've aged quite a bit at this point. So until he gets an Easy A, or more importantly, we finally get an LR Kid Buu, which I have no idea when Dokkan's going to decide to give us one of them, because it has been years for everyone asking for one of them. He doesn't have the best unit to partner him up where they don't kind of hold him back. Like, Buu tanks is still pretty decent, but as I said, he has aged quite a bit at this point. Easy A could be on the cards anytime at this point. And again, we're still waiting for an LR Super BUU. So yeah, that is probably when part 2 is going to drop. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for LR Super BUU down in the comments. And hopefully you're not, because you want to be saving your stones, considering the anniversary is just right around the corner. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.